This edition of FTB Spotlight is brought to you by Jordan Mott and Greg Pilewicz for Penn State Board of Trustees. Leadership, vision, results, transparency.
Remember when Penn State hired Coach Kotelnicki? The big selling point there was the creativity, the shifts in motions, keeping defenses off balance. We kind of locked him into that box. We thought we knew exactly what we were getting with him, like he was something solid, predictable, like ice. But maybe we should have thought of him more like water, how it takes the shape of whatever container it happens to be in. It seems like instead of forcing players to buy into his vision, he's pouring his ideas into them, into their skill sets, enabling them to do what they do best and adapting to the tools available in his tool chest. I'll give you an example with the pace of play at Kansas. Kotelnicki's last 2 years, they were hovering around 100th in the nation in terms of plays per minute, around 2.1 plays that they ran per minute of offensive possession time. When he got here to Penn State, they were even slower. They were barely over 2 plays per minute. And it really hit rock bottom the midpoint of the season. In that 8th game, they crawled to 1.86 plays per minute. I'm sure you remember which game that was and why that had to happen. I don't need to get into specifics. I'm sure it's as painful for you as it is for me. But here's the cool part. It seems like a lesson was learned because right after the Ohio State game, Penn State was way down at 120th in offensive pace, and I think there's like 130 teams in the NCAA, so pretty much the bottom of the barrel there. But by the end of the season, they had improved that by almost 2 full seconds, and it climbed all the way up to 88th. Now, shaving off 2 seconds per play might not sound like a lot, but jumping 40 spots, especially that late in the season, is way too significant to just be a fluke of statistics. Now, we can talk about more of the why later, but the point is they started going faster. They're running more plays, and crucially, they were getting more first downs. In those last 8 games of the season, Aller was throwing it more than anyone in the Big Ten, and he was second in passing first downs created. Katron Allen and Nick Singleton, meanwhile, were 1 and 2 in rushing first downs. And by the way, Drew Aller was number 9 on that list. So they're playing faster, they're moving the chains more. You'd think this would correlate to greater success overall for the offense. And you'd be right. Now, we went back through every play the Penn State offense ran last year. We tallied these by hand. You can see on the screen the criteria we used to define what is a hurry-up situation. And what we found was that Penn State's offensive success rates, both for creating explosive plays and touchdown plays, almost doubled when they're going hurry-up, as opposed to when they're being methodical and slow. So kudos to Andy for being an old dog willing to learn new tricks. Kudos to James for giving him the space to grow. Today, we're going to go deeper into the coach speak and explore some of the tangible, quantifiable benefits of the hurry-up offense and what its proliferation down the stretch for Penn State in 2024 could mean for Kotelnicki and Drew Aller going into 2025. So you sit in your film sessions all week long and you think you got a pretty good idea of all the things that Coach K can throw at you. Then you get out there on Saturday and you know your business pretty well. You're landing a couple punches your own. You call the perfect play, get the perfect stop, and you make the mistake of letting your guard down a bit. Then you get punched in the mouth, and that's when the fight truly begins. And that's what just happened to Wisconsin there. What exactly just happened? Well, if you blinked, you might have missed it. And that's going to be a theme for today, so try not to do a lot of blinking. This is the first play of the second quarter against Wisconsin. You see the 15 on the game clock. Penn State comes in heavy, tight in 23 personnel. 2 running backs, 3 tight ends. They're just trying to plug this one, little stretch zone to the left. This is a maximum blocking look in almost certain run situation, and Wisconsin shuts it down. You see 92 gets up, wagging a finger. He's celebrating. He thinks they got a win there, but he doesn't know that the hook has just been set. Because here we are, 15 seconds of real time later, and Penn State is already running their next play. You see they're spread number to number with that same personnel, the same tight ends and running backs. Because Penn State went so fast into this play, they have that same personnel spread out. They didn't give Wisconsin a chance to run their fresh legs out on the field. They're stuck in their 3-4 base. And Penn State's going to exploit that with a little bit of mesh action out on the right here between Singleton and Warren. Just going to cross over their little pick. Warren's going to set a pick for his buddy to get him open. Now, usually you'd have a slot receiver running that route against the safety there and getting that mismatch. But Singleton, he's not a bad runner, and he's about to show you that his hands aren't to be discounted either. And I think that might have even been a one-handed finish, too. So this ability to trap defenses into bad personnel groupings is particularly advantageous to teams like the Nittany Lions, whose offensive weapons can wear a lot of hats. This is exactly why the creative genius Andy Kotelnicki was the perfect choice to unlock the full potential of this highly versatile offensive core. He's like an Italian chef using the same 5 ingredients in different ways to make thousands of different dishes. One of Andy's dirty little secrets is he wants you to think he's throwing a lot at you when really he's finding new ways to disguise the same handful of core concepts. Adding hurry-up tempo in the mix makes those repetitious plays harder to recognize. This is one of those plays. Kotelnicki shows it to USC twice in the second half, both times coming off of big gains on first down. They're going to rush to the line and run the same play before the defense gets a chance to get their legs under them and realize what's happening. The concept is a good zone beater. You're flooding one guy's zone with multiple receiving routes. It's a simple read, left to right. Again, we're minimizing the checklist our guys have to go through so they can play loose and fast. We want them to see it, feel it, and let it rip. The first rep is exactly that, just some good, clean rhythm passing. Drew sees advantageous leverage out on the left. The corner is an inside leverage against an outside breaking route. Amari's not college open here, but that defender would have to go through his body in order to make a play on that ball, so it's about as safe a throw as you can get. This one sets him up inside the 5, and Katron was able to finish it off 2 plays later. Here we're in crunch time now, about 3 minutes left in this game. It's the same setup with everything flowing from the right to the left. Again, you have your block and release from the tight end here. Again, this is actually a running back lined up as a tight end. It's a nice little wrinkle of hiding that guy there. The defense is not expecting whoever's lined up there to have that singleton speed, that extra gear he can kick it into. And once he kicks it up into that gear, there's no way of tracking that guy down in space. Now just taking a look from the end zone view here, take a look at Drew's helmet stripe. He starts out looking to his left, as he did in that first play, but he didn't like the matchup there, so he goes to the middle, doesn't like that, and by the time he gets to the right, he's already loading up for that throw. This is exactly what they teach you with your progression, that if you get to the end of it, that ball needs to be coming out one way or the other. Either you're hitting the check down, you're throwing it away, or you're getting ready to run with it. Once they think they got you timed up, that's where the real fun begins. That's when you can really start messing with them. It's about ratcheting and dialing the speed up and down at will so that you dictate the pace as the offense. You put the defense back on the defensive as they should be, and you're now in the driver's seat again. Let's take a look at a sequence from the Big Ten Championship against the famously fast-moving Oregon Ducks. We join this drive at 3rd and 15 after a run stuff, an incompletion, and a false start. Penn State's being methodical here. They can't afford another mistake, already down 2 scores. So the play clock's under 5 seconds at the snap here. Drew's going to step up and finally get a first down, their first foothold of momentum. There's a hip drop tackle there, but you can see Penn State's wanting to turn up the dial here. The broadcasters are going to try to cut to a replay there, but Drew's already got them lined up for the next play. He's actually jumping up and down here. He wants to go even faster, but Evans is lined up on the wrong side. They still get it snapped with about 30 seconds on the play clock, but they wanted to get this one off even sooner. Just a little read option to Katron, a couple yards, but a brilliant pancake block on the edge here from Warren. I just want to highlight that real quick. Next play here, they're going to slow it down. The broadcast got the chance to show a whole replay that time, even though the play wasn't that interesting. And they come back from the replay, and you see Drew is down on a knee, still in the huddle, being real methodical here, probably calling a couple plays right here, so they can, if the next one is successful, they can roll right into the play after that. And if they get to the line and they don't like the first play they called, they can always can that play and go straight to the second one. So they're going to run the play clock all the way down under 5 seconds here. They're going to run just looks like a little RPO here, and the defender in outside leverage on Warren is more concerned with the bubble screen threat to Clifford up to the top of the screen. So Warren's got one guy coming here, another guy going. Nobody's staying home on him, and that's just a mistake you can't make on one of the best offensive threats in the nation. Drew makes him pay, and Tyler adds injury to the insult with a set of broken ankles on number 5 there. So now we're going to go fast again. We're going to turn that dial up again. They're going to cut to the band here, cut to the replay, but they're going to have to bail on that again because they're already lined up again. and they're already running this play, and Singleton just angles out of the backfield, and this linebacker here in coverage, I guess he assumed he had to have help over the top or another guy in the middle, the way he just let him go there. But just look at this, how Penn State was lined up here before this play. Receivers split out, not just outside the numbers, literally sideline to sideline. When they spread you out that wide, it's real tough to close the gaps to help, and obviously Singleton's speed is the X factor here that makes that impossible.